Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahabhiryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, may He protect us both. May we both enjoy together. May we both exert together. May our studies become brilliant. May we not become disputatious and hate each other. Om, peace, peace, peace. Welcome to the online classes of Bhagavad Gita. So, it's a beautiful text if you know how to go about studying it. Start with the process of every day, one page of the Bhagavad Gita book, just one page. Try to understand it to the best of your ability and then confirm it by experimenting in the world. It will never happen that in the first attempt of experimentation or living the knowledge will be completely right, because there will be a lot of questions, extreme amount of questions. Because the knowledge what is talked about by Lord Krishna and the so-called practical world looks quite diverse and opposite. So once you get this medium of knowledge and you start applying it, there will be a lot of confrontation, there will be a lot of agitations, stress, perhaps, not necessarily, but perhaps. But this is the way to go. It guides you towards the higher. So continue your studies. I'm very good that everybody is listening to this lecture now. And whenever you are studying the Bhagavad Gita or any scriptures for that matter, if your focus is not 100%, chances are that you may not understand the text at all if the concentration is not right. So there are usually three types of students. The first type of student, rare, is probably 1% of the whole thing, is who understands the knowledge and tries to implement it in their own lives. The rest two are bifurcated into either they don't understand at all, they listen to some concepts of Bhagavad Gita, but then they pitch it up saying that no, it is impossible. This is not the way to live, and you can't live like this. It's too idealistic by nature. One, people give it up like that. Second, they quote the scriptures and misunderstand it. They quote the same scriptures, same lines, and then they say it is written in the Bhagavad Gita, therefore I am following the opposite pattern of life. It reminds me of a story of Mullah Nasruddin, and he was a small boy. Nazir used to call it, small boy. And his father had this habit of getting up in the morning, early morning, and going for azan, 5:30 in the morning. And Nazir used to sleep. He just used to sleep and used to get up around 7, 8, 9, whatever is his time. So the father used to always wake him up and say, get up, get up. And he used to make this statement. Remember, there is a famous quotation that the early bird gets the worm. One day, Nazir got up. When the father was waking up, somehow he got up, and then father repeated the same thing. Remember, early bird gets the worm. So Nazir asked his father, if the early bird gets the worm, then what was the mistake of the worm? The worm also got out of its hole early. If he was a little late, perhaps he would have been saved. This is misquoting the scriptures. Shastras, Vedanta is given for self-evolution. And if there is any verse in the whole text of 701 verses of the Bhagavad Gita which explains in a nutshell, summarizes the whole thing of how life should be led, it is this verse, the coming verse, which we did last time, a little bit touched upon, but we didn't explain through it. So we'll just chant the verse and then we'll go ahead with it. Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya dhyatma chetasa nirashi nirmamo bhutva yudhyasva vigatajwaraha. One of the most famous verses in the Bhagavad Gita. It can go on into explanations for perhaps 5 to 6 lectures, if not more. It's a beautiful concept explaining how to live a life. The whole verse is just one. So if you study only this, you understand only this, and you live only this, I am seriously saying you don't need to listen to any other lectures of anyone else, provided you understand this. Listen to this, make it assimilated into your system, and then live it. So we'll start this verse. Mai sarvani karmani. What should be done? Mai, in me. In me, I'll just read it. Renouncing all actions in me, with thoughts resting on the self, free from hope and attachment, fight without mental fever. So what you should do? Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya. Give up all your thoughts. Sanyasya, give up all your thoughts. Mai sarvani, all your actions. Karmani, all actions. To whom? To me. To me means Krishna. Now, throughout the Granthas, the Lord has said it many times, renounce your actions to me. I am the Supreme. Bible says, Jesus said, I am the one. There is nobody other than me. Every Grantha says these for a purpose. When they mean I, you have to understand all these great Mahatmas, whether it is Muhammad, whether it is Jesus Christ, whether it is Krishna or Rama or anybody for that matter. They have reached a particular understanding of themselves that they are no more the finite aspect of life. All of them, the great masters, whether it's Adi Shankaracharya, Ramatirtha, Paramhamsa, all these great masters have understood one thing, is there is a great infinite power other than me which functions through me as if I am the chosen equipment. So at every given point of time, I have this tendency to either identify myself as the supreme being, or the choice is given to identify with what I see and I perceive. So this body, this mind, this intellect, this world is what I know. So if that I, the ego, becomes prominent and you start identifying with that, then the body is constantly changing. Your mind is constantly changing. Desires are keeping on cropping up. Old desires go away, yielding to new ones. Intellect is constantly changing. The information getting from the society is different every time. A small children, when we have these children's classes, some of them ask so beautiful questions. They say, sir, I want to ask you a very important question. How did you live 10, 15 years back? There was no internet, no? It's so sweetly they ask. Without internet, without TV, without mobile phone, how did you live, sir? Ideas and information keeps on changing. And I look around, the external world keeps on changing. Technology keeps on changing. Who would have guessed 10, 15 years back that we can actually talk to each other and have classes like this? It's impossible. It's changing, and it's changing so rapidly. Every 1 week a new gadget is coming. Every time a new thing is happening. All these are temporary by nature, and if I associate myself with these temporary aspects of life, then I constantly become agitated, stressed, and tensed. If I identify with that supreme self, which is the changeless factor in this all changing phenomena, then nothing happens to me. So it depends on where I associate myself. So the first step, what I do, I can't live without action. No human being can live without action. They have to act. So the first thing an individual needs to do is act. No action is equal to death. Like a teacher used to say this beautifully, when we had this in their academy. He used to say that you have to get up in the morning 4:30 and start your prayers. We have done that prayers, remember? Prata smarami rudhi sanspuradatma tattva. That we have to pray and then go to your room and study for 1 hour 15 minutes every day morning. And then he said, if there are guests, try to get up in the morning 4:30 and try to enjoy this. If you can't get up at 4:30 for the prayer, you come to a particular tower and then it doesn't happen, and you are sleeping, it's okay. Since you are a visiting person, it doesn't matter. At least get up at 5:45 and have a cup of tea. Get up in the morning, have a cup of tea. It's refreshing. Sir, I don't drink tea. Drink anything, doesn't matter. Whatever is your constitution, you drink accordingly, but have a cup, refresh yourself. If you can't get up then also, it's all right. It doesn't matter. Get up at 6:20, 6:30 and do your yoga or gymming or exercises. It's a great way to start the morning. If early morning you can exercise 5:30, 6 o'clock, nothing like it. So you study, you have your cup of tea, you go for your yoga or exercises or cycling, nothing like it. You started your day good. If you can't get up then at least get up at 7 o'clock to do some running around, 7 to 7:30 in the academy. If you can't do that, you're still in the bed, then you don't get up. Then your life is useless. The whole prachar of the studies is early morning, get up and study. Try to do as much. So 4:30 is very difficult. Correct. What time you are getting up now? I am getting up at 7 o'clock. Fair enough. Can you prepone it by half an hour? Yes, I can try. Then prepone it by half an hour. Every time, weekly, or 15 days of fortnight, keep on improving and going up by half an hour until you reach 4 o'clock or 4:30. When you get up in the morning 4:30, you study, you do everything, you have your breakfast by 8, 8:30, your day is over. And then afternoon, have a what we call power nap for 1 hour. That's enough. Anywhere in lunchtime, wherever you are in the office also, you can have a power nap for 15, 20 minutes, no problem. And then you continue the day. By 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, you are asleep. So what you do with the physical body, it has to be maintained. You have to act. There is no choice not to act. What kind of an action? Whatever action you do, any action, renounce all the action to me. This me represents the higher personality. When Krishna says me or Jesus says, they are representing the higher self. So, but when in Bhagavad Gita, he uses the term me and subsequently self, both these words are used, then we can try to understand that the me is a relative goal in life and self is the absolute goal in life. What you want to do in life? I want to be eternally ever happy. Not a single thought of mental agitation should enter my head. This is absolute goal, an absolute ideal. Whole life, I want to be just happy, do what I can to the best of your ability and move on. Relatively, I need to get fitter, so I'll give myself perhaps a year. Mentally, at present, my state is such that if a pin pricks, I sit and cry mentally. I keep on thinking why this happened, how this happened, after all this time, after all the studies, all these things are pinpricks. A time should come after a year that the biggest of the problems what I'm facing should feel like pinpricks. Emotionally, I need to get better, that I don't hurt. The world remains the same, but I don't get hurt. So every action, each and every action, you pour it into me. Don't think you are doing it. Renounce that action. So when we use the term renounce the action, people give up the action only. No, I have tried to find out what Brahman is, and therefore, sir, I've stopped acting. Very good for you. You stopped acting. So what are you eating? Whatever people give, I am eating. So you are giving what people are eating. You are a beggar. The attitude, it's not what people are giving. What are you doing for whatever you are getting? If you do anything without deserving or without working for it, stenasya uchyate, he is called a thief, says the Bhagavad Gita. So you give all the activities, all your actions to a higher goal in life, relatively. Narada and Vishnu were walking together in the clouds. It's a story. So how can you can walk on the cloud? Don't ask questions like that. Okay, it's a story. Narada and Vishnu were walking, and Narada is constantly looking at Vishnu and saying, you know what? I have come to know one thing for fact. I am your greatest devotee. Because whole life, I have this veena in my hand and I keep on saying, Narayana, Narayana, Narayana. Like the amount I chant your name, oh Lord, I don't think anybody can chant that much. I am the greatest devotee. So Vishnu looked at Narada's face, he shook his head and continued walking. So Narada said, you are not telling me that I am your greatest devotee. See, you are good, but there are people who are better than you. So what are you talking? Where are they? In Devalok? No, no, on earth. I want to see such a person who is more devoted than me. So let's go. And they can change their dress material and all. So they come with a changed clothes as two farmers and they go into an old person's house. He is tilling the land. So he's sitting in the house and he gives them something to eat. And Narada is asking, I heard you are a great saint and you keep on chanting Lord's name continuously. He says, no, I can't chant continuously, but whenever I have time between my work, I chant Narayana's name. That's it. So approximately how much time you can chant? I don't count, but it can't be continuous. Okay. Bye, see you. And they leave. And Narada says, he can't even chant regularly your name. It's not possible. I am chanting regularly. Why is he better than me? Then Vishnu says, okay. And he gives him a vessel full of hot oil, filled up to the brim. and puts it on Narada's head and says, now walk from that end of the farm to this end back to me. Go and come back. But on one condition, not a single drop of oil should fall down. So Narada puts that oil. So that's easy. And he puts that oil and he walks, and there are stones and pellets and all. He's walking very carefully. Oh my God, there I slept. Oh my God, there I was about to be falling down. He says, oh, okay, okay. I have to be careful. Not a single drop should fall. And he comes back and he shows Vishnu the whole pot. Says, not a single drop has fallen. See, he says, now in this work, how many times you remembered me? Narada says, not a single time, because my focus was continuously on whether the oil is being spilt. So if a normal person working throughout the day can remember even 3 times or 4 times my name, isn't he a better person? Narada said yes. This is called renunciation of all actions. When you renounce your action to a goal in life, nothing affects you. Absolutely nothing. All the action, just devote to that cause. So whatever happens after you act is not your concern at all, not anybody's concern. There's this beautiful quotation in Hindi. We went somewhere near Ladakh and we saw this in a army base camp, in Hindi. So I'll just repeat it in Hindi and then I'll do it in English. He says, दोनों तरफ से जीत मेरी पक्की है, दोनों तरफ से जीत मेरी पक्की है, या तो उस पहाड़ पर जाकर झंडा तिरंगा लहरा कर आऊंगा, या तो उस पहाड़ पर जाकर तिरंगा लहरा कर आऊंगा, या तो फिर उस तिरंगे में लिपटा हुआ आऊंगा, पर जीत दोनों में, दोनों तरफ से मेरी पक्की है. Victory is assured. Either I'll go to the mountain top and unfurl the tricolor, or I will come in the tricolor as a dead body. But the victory is assured. Both cases is mine. This is a higher cause. So this is when you're saying renouncing my action, my job is to just act. I have to act. What comes out of it, I am not bothered. Should I not see also what comes out of it? Of course you should see. Long time back, I had given this concept. There are 2 things. One is called phala chinta and the other is called phala bhisandi. Phala bhisandi is you are watching the fruit and you are getting attached to it. Obsession of the fruit of action. Phala chinta is why the fruit has not come. Phala chinta everybody has. Now, when you say phala chinta, when you do a particular action, you want to see a good result. Why not? You should. So you are seeing a good result. If the result is good, you can pat yourself on the back and said, okay, job well done. Where are the things I can improve, and continuously, constantly go on improving it. If the result is not commensurate to the effort, then you change the process. That is why you need to know the fruit, what is coming, and then you change the process until you have done a good job. So this is all right. A little bit of looking at result from the point of view of quality control is all right. Phala bhisandi is when the attachment to the fruit of action is so much after the action is done. So when an action is done, the result takes a little while to come. Say a day, a 2, perhaps a month. And when you are constantly thinking attached to the fruit, this is the way it should be, this is the way it should be, this is the way it's obsessing about it, then whatever action you are trying to do between the action done and the result will never be proper. Therefore, attachment to the fruit should not be there. But Give up. So give up all your action. Who am I to do anything? Just do it. This is called Mai Sarvani Karmani. Give up all your actions. Sanyasya Atma Chetasa. Your intellect resting on the self. That is what is higher goal. Absolute goal of self-realization. Why am I being sent here into this world? Is it an accident or is there a purpose? I don't know. The great masters have said across the board, across generations, across countries, and across continents, that my only mission in life, like Ram Tirtha puts it, is to be self-sufficient, self-poised, and self-pleased. Be happy. And find out what is my original nature. If I don't find out in this janma, in this lifetime, who I am, then every janma I keep on being born again and again for the same purpose. But once I find out what my purpose is, then it is said that my mission of life is fulfilled. You are free to do whatever you want to do. Atma Chetasa is the higher ideal. So you fix up that higher goal in life. I want to realize myself. I want to find out who I am. And how to go about it? Start renouncing your actions towards a higher relative goals in life. Constantly improve yourself. Physically, emotionally, intellectually. Don't look around in the world of what the world is doing, because the world is moving at its own. It has got tamas, it has got rajas, it's got sattva. So be careful. Don't compare yourself with others. So when other people are saying, actually at the age of 45, 50, a little bit laziness is there, it's all right. You don't need to run because the body becomes heavy and your pranas become slow. Don't listen to these things. At a particular age, this will happen. At a particular age, this will get hurt. Don't think about that. There is nothing called age. Aging is a myth. Whatever age, you become sharper. Mentally, you become sharper. Agile, physically. Be careful how you're walking, where you're walking. Nothing should hamper your growth. In Japanese, they say kaizen, constant improvement. So renouncing all actions in relative goals in life after 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, this is the relative goal. Absolute goal, I want to reach that state of self-realization where whatever happens to me, I know it is bound to happen. My body is going to change, my mind is going to change, my intellect is going to change, but I am never going to be agitated. A beautiful example of a person, when I asked him, he was in deathbed. And when I asked him, old man, uncle, so I asked him, uncle, how are you? He was in 4th state of cancer. Just about, in fact, he expired the next day. And one day before, he told me, body is deteriorating, body is going down, but spirit is superb. Our state should come. A body goes there, mind goes there. The spirit, oh sir, I am telling you, nobody can put me down. I'm like a magic ball. Have you seen that magic ball? You bounce, it comes out twice. I'm like the magic ball. Nobody can put me down. I'm just on and off every time in a high. I don't need to have anything to be a high. I'm always on a high. That attitude. So renouncing all actions in me and dedicating to a higher cause, the supreme reality, all your actions will become tremendously dynamic, and a major energy creation will happen. You will be more energized for your actions. You will never feel tired. You will never feel bored. There are so many people who come to us and say, how can you talk the same thing again and again? Study the same subject again and again, the same verse. Doesn't it have monotony? Boring? How can it be monotonous? I know, sir, in majority of the countries I have seen, worst thing is to get married. You should never get married. I can't imagine why people get married. Because every morning you get up, the same face, the same person, constantly, every day. Baap re. For such people, Shastras are not there. Every day can you treat as a new day. Every day you get up and treat as if you were married yesterday, as if you had children yesterday. Every day is a new day. All the problems will be dissolved. Energy will be maximized. You'll be working. So dynamism will be there massively. You will not get tired at all. Why do you get tired? What is it that dissipates one's energy? What it is when says, oh my God, I can't do anything more. Why? It is one's mind. So the first line, Lord Krishna has covered, the physical body should function. Your body should follow the law of dynamics, and the mind should follow the law of static. Body should follow 24/7. Mind should be absolutely, like the youngsters say, I love that word, chillax. Chillax, ekdam chill. No problems at all. Where is the problem? No problem, nothing. Corona, it will go. This problem, that, every problem will come and go, but I will never get affected with the physical body, because your mind is moving. You have your own goal to be charted. This is what I want to do. And this is the intellect. So body is functioning, intellect is pitched on to something higher in life. And what does the mind do? Where all does the mind go? Simple. Nirmamo, nirashi, nirmamo bhutva. No, nirashi, no hope. It doesn't run towards hope. So the line is free from hope and attachment. Nir Asha, no hope. I hope this should happen. You are what your language is. In one of the advertisements I saw, such a beautiful advertisement, there is this poor old man who's sitting begging on the streets, and he is written on the board, I am blind, I can't see, please help. So everybody is walking, coming and going, and some people give some money. So one lady walks across, she sees the board, she takes a handkerchief, rubs the board, and then she writes on the board something and keeps it. And she goes away. Then he hears a lot of clanging of coins. More and more people are giving him money. So he just keeps on saying, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then he hears the same lady's footsteps. So he looks, he just happens to see, he can't see naturally. So he says, excuse me, what did you write in my board in the morning? She says, I wrote the same thing, just differently. And then they zoom in onto the board, and it is written, it's a beautiful day tonight. It's a beautiful day today. It's a pity I am not able to see. Same words, change it. So where is the mind going? What is the mind? Where it goes? In hope. In the future. Nir Asha, Asha means hope. In the future, this should happen, that should happen. Everything should happen and will happen according to what you want it to happen, provided you act on it. Now, many people I had a teacher once, and they used to talk of this creative visualization. It's one of the big things, so called creative. And the person used to say that I am positive thinking that I should be healthy. I should be healthy. So I come across a person who was very, very obese. Okay. Because obesity is linked to bad health. So very extremely obese. And I used to tell him, because he was a good friend, I used to tell him, listen, start exercising. Go for a treadmill, have a walk, just half an hour every day. You'll be fine. Climb some stairs. You'll be all right. And he used to say, I am sitting, you won't believe it, and constantly thinking, I am going to become thin. I'm going to become thin. I'm going to become thin. It will and it cannot work. Only when it crystallizes and comes into action will it work. So where the mind goes, hoping, nirasha, I am hoping this should happen. I am hoping. Your focus is just fix a goal and start acting. Nothing more than that. So no thought of what is going to happen in the future. Nirasha and nirmamo. Nothing is mine. Whatever I have accumulated in the past is what is called my ego. Because ego always functions on showing off what all you have. Look at the wealth I have created. Look at the cars I have. Look at the family I have created. Look at the children, what I did to the children. So much educated. They are going abroad and studying. I did so much. Everything, look what I have done, what I have done, what I have done. And one day while walking down the stairs, some chunk of a concrete falls on my head and I forget who I am. No ego. No attachment to the past because I don't have a past. This attitude. Nirmamo, nirasha, nirashi, nirmamo bhutva. Giving up either the hope for the future or attachment of the past. Nobody should have any ego of what they have achieved thus far, because whatever is your achievement or our achievement, it is thousands of things coming together to make what we are now. Thousands of things. Somebody taught me English language. Somebody taught me the Bhagavad Gita. Somebody taught me the refinement of how to live a life. Somebody taught me about technology. Every aspect, thousands of contributors are there at present in our life. And in that particular life, in that particular incident, to claim that, listen, I have done this thing is ridiculous. Ram Tirtha says there was a great poet, a painter who painted a beautiful painting. And after doing that painting, it was so beautiful, he signed down and said, my name. He wrote his name. And this great sage, Swami Ram Tirtha says, why are you lying? Why are you lying? Did you paint this? So the painter said, of course I painted this. I painted it right before you. You are lying, he says. Because when you were painting, you were not aware that you are painting. It was some other power which was functioning through you while you were painting. You were so-called in a zone. And after the work is done, you are writing your name. This is misappropriation. You have not written it. You are writing the name after the work done. So who are you to do anything? Who am I to talk anything? As soon as when you are writing a poem, when you are drawing a picture, painting any attitude, any aspect of action, as soon as you think, wow, look at what I am doing, the work will get spoiled. You can't write 2 lines of poetry. Impossible. You can't write, because as soon as you write, you say, wow, the first line is so beautiful. You cannot write the second point. Impossible. You need not be there for the action to be performed perfectly. And that kind of perfect action, where the ego is not there, is called inspired action. And when there is a collection of inspired actions in our life, it is called an inspired living. It's as simple as that. So no hope for the future. This should happen, that should happen. Keep a target and function. Neither attached on your past. So no attachment to the past, no hope, thinking and obsessing and craving about the future. Function now. How? Without mental fever. Vigata jwaraha. Don't have a feverish attitude of doing anything. I should do, I should do, I should do. Nothing. Whatever you do, it doesn't matter. It will have its result. Don't be obsessed with anything. That fever of doing, oh my God, so many people are listening. Oh my God, I have to do this. So many people, so many, you're finished. You'll not be able to do any action. If you don't understand what I'm saying, go to an Indian marriage and see the lady of the mother of the daughter running around everywhere. I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to constantly running. No need to have so much running around. It's like the Terry Fox in the movie Terry Fox, where he was said, his parents and everybody come to meet him. And they say, wow, Terry Fox is making money, and he's trying to give that money to the cancer research. So he's donating the whole amount. And tomorrow he's going to reach Ontario. And there he's going to meet the president, Trudeau, at that time. And wow. And the sister says to Terry Fox, I've heard there are 3,000 people waiting to listen to Terry Fox. So Terry Fox, a very shy boy, he looks at the sister and says, 3,000. It's less. Because the message of trying to help those who can't help themselves, trying to teach people to make a better living and a better life is so important that lakhs and lakhs and millions of people should listen, and yet it is not enough. That attitude. No mental fever, no attachment to the past of what all I have accumulated, no hope for the future cravings. Do that activity with a higher goal in life and push all your actions into that one channel of right living. Life will become better. We chant the mantra. Om.